Hello, this is Dr. Gilbert Castleberry, Associate Professor and Program Director of Communication, Media, and Ethics at Mid-America Christian University. I'm here with a video talk, teaser, and primer for some of the readings relating to COM 4103 Special Topics in Media Studies. Our special topics emphasis this semester: Film Studies, an Introduction to Film survey course. And so with each film or week or unit that we study, we have not only a screening of the week and a theme or genre that each unit is paired up with, but we have some primary readings, and then there are also opportunities to explore secondary readings. And so I want to talk to us a little bit about those secondary readings relating to our first genre and our first film within that genre. We're looking at the quote-unquote adventure genre in Unit 1, and within the adventure genre, we have, at least for now, placed 1942's Casablanca. Now, our primary texts for this course, once again, include Rick Altman's film genre, all right, as well as John G. Coelty's adventure, mystery, and romance. And I talked a little bit about each of those books in class, but it's important to recognize context. We have a third book, but it has a sole genre emphasis that we are not yet to. We're saving that for Unit 3 of this course, all right? And so those are our primary readings. We're trying to get something out of at least one, if not more, of them each week, and those are in our assigned readings placement in the syllabus, in the books that you're required to secure for this class. However, we want to give you as much as possible. We have a healthy range of students from freshman up to senior, and we want to be able to accommodate everyone's learning style. And so we're providing even more supplemental materials or supplementary readings that you can find each week in D2L. All right, and so in our D2L page, I've created folders and folders for each of the units and subfolders within each unit for our films. And I just want to give us an example of what that looks like with the first feature we screened together, Casablanca. All right, and so I've got my own actual folder here that I'm going to pull some printed files from, and I just want to introduce or cover the key themes of each of those to make a point about these additional readings. All right, so we're not trying to overwhelm your already busy schedules with readings. What we are trying to do is connect each of you to a place where you can appreciate film studies, that process of engaging media in new ways, but also understanding that we each approach media differently, and so different readings may strike you differently. All right, some are not going to be of interest, others might really connect, and that's what we want. That's why we're trying to provide as many of those materials as possible. So among our supplemental reads attached in D2L for the Casablanca screening, I just want to preview what each one is about. All right, so first one I'm going to look at here is entitled Casablanca, Popular Film of the Century by Ray Murlock. And what several of these essays mean to us, or how they were organized, is they were collected together in a special issue, a special issue of a film and media journal. In fact, it's the Journal of Popular Film and Television. And so 4 of these essays come from that special issue that was released in 2000, and the birth year for some of you. But the Popular Film in the Century I'm going to talk about one highlight that struck me from this essay and then move on. And that's that we get a strong sense of the background of the film in this short essay. All right. And they're pretty short. They're pretty readable, reader friendly. And so this essay, Merlant goes into talking about the stage play that Casablanca was based on, something that's discussed briefly in our first lecture podcast. You can check that out as well. And it really goes into helping us understand that the golden age Hollywood, okay, back in the early and mid 20th century wasn't. There's a reason we attach that term industry to it, all right, and it had certain, sometimes unspoken, sometimes contractual rules that they had to follow, and that film is a collaborative medium, and what we mean by that is what was part of the stage play evolved into the feature film, and that's important. It's important to understand these processes. We're going to be working with people in positions and roles for the rest of our professional careers where we're tasked with collaborative opportunities. It takes two or more to tango, as they say. And so Merlant, the essay, does a great job of that. Next, I will mention the essay titled Sam the Piano, all right? And Sam the Piano is an excellent essay that talks a lot about, investigates, I guess it's not really talking so much as investigating and reporting, right? Through written word, not spoken word, but rather Sam the Piano Player, the man between. All right, so I'm sorry, that was a 2-page spread. Okay, the format of the journal. Sam the Piano Player, the man between, by Thomas Cripps. And this is an excellent essay because it gets at what would be perceived as a controversial theme today, and that's the roles race played in that golden age of Hollywood. We still see racial and gender tensions in entertainment industry and sports today, but it was treated a much different factor back then, and I think this is an excellent case study to show us how how despite the glorified presentation and final product of Casablanca, it still has its flaws, some of those behind the scenes, but it also gives us a fuller understanding of the evolution of the character Sam as negotiated as part of that collaborative process behind the scenes before it gets in front of the camera. And so Sam, the piano player, if we recall, a person of color who was kind of Rick's right-hand man. And this essay really gets into the nitty-gritty of how that character matters, right? How it's significant and important, but also where it comes up short. And I think we'll be challenged as we look at that. An area, a discipline that's closely related to film studies is the broader area of cultural studies. And the key themes that cultural theorists are often interested in questioning and investigating include examining issues of race, power, gender, class, sexuality, and so on. All right, and so these questions get investigated and talked about and considered time and time again. And this essay takes that type of approach. Let me move on to the third essay included in the special issue. This one I had almost no interest in reading at first, all right? Just based on how little I knew. Once I started reading it, I got really into it. It became one of my favorite essays in this short collection, and so I'm gonna preface this really quick. Title is "The Germans Wore Gray, You Wore Blue: Frank Capra, Casablanca, and the Colorization Controversy of the 1980s" by Gary Edgerton. Oh my goodness. This was a fantastic essay because it reached outside the text itself, outside of the film, and talked about some larger part of media history, which I love studying about personally. So now we see a connection point there. But it talked about the process, and this is before, I believe, all of you were born, when VHSs ruled the day, okay? The 1980s. There was this there was this technology fad where they were taking old black and white movies and what they call colorizing them, okay, making them color films for the first time ever for audiences to sell, or sell on the market to bring more attention to these classics, to make more money. And this essay does an amazing job going through the case study of not only Casablanca at the forefront, but really just that struggle and that tension within the industry, and how it impacted the art. We can think of film and filmmaking as an art form. As commercial as it is, it's also an art form. It's a mass medium that is storytelling based in an artistic manner, right? There's a craft to it. And what does it mean when something that is intentionally designed for black and white is suddenly, by an outside party, drastically made to look entirely different? How does that influence it? Wow. When we think about it in that way, quite provocative. So I highly encourage that one. And then the final essay in the special issue is Playing It Again and Again: Casablanca's Impact on American Mass Media and Popular Culture by Kathy Murlock Jackson. And this is an excellent essay that talks about and unpacks the legacy of Casablanca. So the things that come after, the way it influenced popular culture, the way it influenced mass marketing, the ways in which it was spun off or remade or translated in other forms and fashions. So I think if you're into that kind of thing, this process of media franchising, it could be a great read for you, perhaps the way you want to approach special topics. And then there was included at the back end of this special issue what's titled Nobody Ever Loved Me That Much, a Casablanca bibliography. And this, if you're unfamiliar, some new folks in the class, a bibliography is a collection of citations of resources on that primary text, Casablanca, the film, and it's pages and pages of resources, so you could find that, and that's exciting. I mentioned cultural studies and how cultural studies scholars and theorists like to tackle social issues of varying sorts. And so I found a separate essay that was at least interesting and could easily spark varying disagreements in discussion if we had that kind of time. We do not. But the title of this essay is Beautiful Friendship, Masculinity and Nationalism in Casablanca, from Peter Koons. And so this appeared in the Studies in Popular Culture journal in their fall 2014 issue, so relatively recent. And so what you have here is an author making a strong contemporary reading. I say strong like it's taking a strong stance, as Stuart Hall might suggest, another cultural studies theorist. It takes nearly an oppositional reading, if not a negotiated reading, of what the original text's intent and meaning was. And that can be a kind of fun exercise as well, and teaches as much about the present and present discussions as it does the past and past discussions. So there is an example of scholarship on the film Casablanca, and once again, to paint a picture, why bombard you? Why give you all of these additional materials? We certainly don't have time to read all of them. That's never the expectation. The expectation is that you find something, dig around, you dig through them, you find something maybe you connect with, an area of interest. And also, these extra materials give us some texts to relate to as we're thinking about how do I want to formalize my short essays when I do my 4 different genre reports. All right, we have these genre analyses that we will write for 4 of our 6 units, and these different essays give us samples of different writing styles, different ways to approach thinking about writing about movie, other than saying generic, straightforward things like, I really liked this movie and I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it. Turns out I did enjoy it. And here's a couple of reasons why. We want to learn how to process this information on a little bit different level, a little bit more of a long form thought and engagement. And we'll do that through our special topic as well. But that is a short sampling. I hope you all enjoyed hearing about those, and now you may be able to choose one or more and check them out if it interests you. We'll be back with more ideally briefer videos to talk about each week's supplemental readings. Hope you all enjoy that and do well, and look forward to screening some films with you in class. Thank you.